I guess it's a bit crazy to be releasing 2 books within 1 month, but you know, nobody's ever accused me of being sensible before. So the first book was Borrowing Burns. It's a factually dubious account of how these murals came to be. It's called Borrowing Burns because there's no actual connection between Burns and Torphichen, but you know, I just thought, well, you know, Burns is our national poet, and he's the guy who wrote 9-inch Will Please a Lady. So that to me is worth appropriating. He's some guy. So all the while I've carried on doing the strips, and now I've gathered them into a new book, and it's called StripTease. It's been an incredible year for political stories. StripTease takes up where the election dissection left off. We see Jim Murphy and the collapse of the Labour vote.
The Scottish National Party, who's taken the seat, Renfrewshire East in West Scotland, of Jim Murphy, who fought this campaign as Labour's leader.
The next big story was Mr Fiery Pants himself, Alistair Carmichael, and that ran and ran.
I think I would need to be persuaded of the need to be honest.
We've had the Brexit vote where these buffoons thought it would be a wheeze to take us out of the EU, and then when they got there they just kind of went, oh, right, okay.
The rights of all of us to elect and remove the people who make the key decisions in their lives.
I have concluded that person cannot be me.
It might be in my party's interest for him to sit there. It's not in the national interest, and I would say, for heaven's sake, man, go!
Do you think people could still have you as Prime Minister if we vote to leave?
Yes, but I do not think it would be right for me to try to be the captain that steers our country to its next destination.
And they all just shuffled off. And of course the ongoing saga of the Labour leadership in Westminster, where we have this challenger to Jeremy Corbyn, Owen Smith, who's a guy who appears to have had some kind of operation to have his personality removed.
I think Kezia is doing a brilliant job. I think she's a fantastic role model. Well, I think Kezia is doing a fantastic job.
And I always portray him as an undertaker because he just strikes me as being the guy who is presiding over the funeral arrangements for the Labour Party. StripTease has got a fantastic foreword by A.L. Kennedy, the award-winning novelist and fellow Dundonian. And if I could just read you a short piece here from it. She says, "The fact that Scotland's politicians don't measure up to our people's now feral aspirations allows Moodie free range to castigate, mock, revile and simply reproduce genuine images that are actually real pictures of faces transformed by their own malignity." Welcome to the Torphichen Inn, here in sunny Torphichen. Sunny today, anyway. For how long, I don't know. It's a lovely spot, and this is where the Tam O Shanter murals are that we started this year. And, well, let's go in and take a look.
When chapman billies leave the street, and through the neighbours meet. As market days are wearing late, and folk begin to tak the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy, and getting fou and anka happy, we think not on the lang Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth found honest Tam O Shanter. So this is from the chapter called The Landlord, and it's about Mr Kenny himself here.
I contemplated spending the day whittling a Harry Lauder life mask from a bar of soap, or fashioning an ashtray from an old Bay City Rollers record. But before I could put either of these splendid plans into action, I was summoned to the Torphichen Inn by a distressed Kenny Craig, proprietor. "I have the ennui," he began. "I know not what ails me, but I curse both it and the horse it drove in on." "Do you have a fever?" I asked. "I have a malaise, a melancholia, I have a dry boke." I assumed he had lost his mind, and tentatively approached my favourite tap at the bar. "Mr. Kenny," I said. He insisted I address him formally at all times. "I hate to see you in such distress." This wasn't strictly true, as in order for me to be fully happy, I need to know that somebody else is miserable. "Perhaps a change of scene is what's required." "I have long harboured a desire to be an artist," he said, ignoring my suggestion. "Alas, I have no aptitude in the field, and my art appreciation too has been found wanting. I was once ejected from the National Gallery for laughing uproariously at the Leonardo cartoon. You, on the other hand, are a noted aesthete. Your tracing skills are legend. They say you once coloured in an entire book in one morning." "Well, I don't like to brag," I said. "I wonder if you might consider lending your much-lauded crayoning finesse to the walls surrounding us. I don't mind the old place, but it's beginning to look a bit dowdy." He spotted an aged mouse in the corner and pretended he'd put it there deliberately.
The way it happened was the pub, like all pubs in Scotland, was struggling a wee bit. I thought to myself, how can we improve things, bearing in mind that we've got a lot of coach tours and things come, how can we offer something more to tourism? And I just happened to be driving in my car this morning from home to work, and Robert Burns came into my mind because I was listening to Robert Burns on the radio, some of his music, and I had the idea that perhaps we should see if we can bring Tam O Shanter to the village.
Well, it was the first place that I actually started playing music, so it was the kind of first venue I ever played in, and I just fell in love with the place, and then because it's got a really homely feel to it, and then especially with this mural now, it's just made it 10 times better and 10 times more of a proper community place to be in, and it's it's definitely one of my favourite places to play in.
I was daft enough to ask him if he wanted a hand, which he immediately said yes. Well, I started doing the outlines, and then he quickly moved me onto the module with the brushes. And it's had great response, and I think there's every chance it'll carry on and it'll grow.
I think it was a great idea. I think it's fantastic. It's a great way to immortalise some of the villagers. It's a great thing to show family and friends, and it's just brilliant. It's great to have Burns involved.
This has really connected everyone. You can still see people coming in with their families, or people who are visiting and showing them the mural and where they are. It's just brought a real sense of connectedness.
So Maggie runs, the witches follow, with mony an eldritch screech and hollow. Ah, Tam, thou'lt get thy fairn, in hell they'll roast thee like a hern. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate's sin will be a woeful woman.
The pub over the past couple of years, it's been sleepy, it's been quiet, it's not really been busy. But now that the murals are here, it's given people another reason to actually come into the pub and use the pub and actually see what the pub has to offer and what the village also has to offer, the talent that's in the village. Ailey in the guitar, and Heather and Graham on the pipes, and Greg doing the artwork. It just really shows that this village has a strong connection to the creative arts, and it's fantastic to see that.
Personally, I think it's vital. There are so few sort of opportunities for everybody to get together, and a lot of discussion, a lot of organisation, a lot of business has developed here in the pub. You know, by people coming together and talking.
Whene'er to drink ye are inclined, or cutty sarks, run in your mind? Think. Ye may buy the joys our dear. Remember, Tam O Shanter's mere.